Hello and welcome to the Edge of Show. I'm your host, Josh Kriger, and we feature a variety of top notch guests and other hosts across Web3, AI, and emerging tech culture. It's another production of the Edge of Company, a growing media ecosystem empowering the pioneers of Web3 tech and culture and the team behind major experiences like the Outer Edge Innovation Festival. This episode is part of a special series exploring the intersection of AI and robotics, where we take a deeper look at how intelligent systems are moving forward from concept to real world execution. And we're featuring Charlie Hugh, co founder of COCO AI, who's building a multi agent system designed to actually execute work across teams and Let me do that again. And today's show features Charlie Hugh, co founder of COCO X. Sorry.
You're good.
And today's show features Charlie Hugh, co founder of COCO AI, who's building a multi. I'm going to take a drink.
Honestly, I think it's fine. You just crack yourself.
Yeah. I like to get this part perfect. And today's show features Charlie Hugh, co-founder of COCO AI, who's building a multi-agent system.
Maybe we changed our wording a bit.
Complicated. All right.
Yeah.
And today's show features Charlie Hugh, co-founder of COCO AI, who's building a multi-agent system designed to actually execute work across teams and tools. Charlie, welcome again to the show. It's great to have you on as always.
Thanks, Josh. Great to be here.
I remember, I don't know what event we were at, but it was like the end of the conference and we were tired and we are just hanging out and we were just starting to talk about AI and all the potential use cases. And now you've built something pretty special that we're using as a company for full disclosure. So really excited to dive into this topic today with you.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting journey. If I remember correctly, when we were talking about AI during that conference, my dev team was already kind of using AI and building AI solutions. But the AI space changed so much. Our product vision and features evolved quite a bit since then already as well. So a lot of things changed since then.
Yeah, well, we'll get into all that, but first, tell me a little bit more about sort of your journey with AI. What ultimately led you into building this multi-agent system?
Yeah, great. So first of all, briefly about myself, right? Being working across many different industries. I worked 2 years in Disney, and then I had my master's degree in behavioral finance. That's how I get to know the entrepreneurship and the financial world. In Netherlands, I get to know 3D printing, industrial design. Before my crypto journey, I've been holding and buying crypto since 2013. I worked three major layer one, layer two Web3 infrastructure in the last 8 years in the Web3 space. And I co-founded one of the leading Bitcoin infrastructure project called BitLayer as co-founder last 3 years. Since then, we've been kind of jogging around building infrastructure in Web3 and also looking at the AI movement. So me as an individual, I've been using ChatGPT, a lot of the AI tooling as a user almost from day one. I actually know Sam Altman. I met him briefly when he was still the chairman of Y Combinator many years ago. And AI has been absolutely phenomenal last, I would say, 3 or 4 years, right? It's growing exponential in terms of user adoption, and the model quality at least shoot up 20x, right? From just a basic chatbot to answer basic questions and search engine. Now, AI are able to complete a lot of tasks in a very high quality level. So it's been an amazing journey. And me as a founder building AI solution, we started in 2025 in March because we had a very extensive, large engineering team, and my co-founder was kind of trying to figure out how to optimize our engineering and R&D solution. We were using Cursor and a few other AI vibe coding tool, to generating code in a cheaper and faster way, right? And then Opus 4.5 from Anthropic really, kind of hit a home run. Their model launched with really high quality code output. We were very surprised that a lot of the code output from Anthropic Opus 4.5 was literally better and higher quality some of our junior engineers. What took them 20 minutes to generate the code will take our junior engineer 2 days. And it's actually higher quality than some of our engineers. it was a very phenomenal moment for us to realize, oh my God, we need to reduce our cost, shrink our engineering team. We were kind of trying to do that anyways, but with AI tooling, it gives us just more confidence. We're able to generate more code, still keep working our product while having a way smaller, way less engineering team in in human wise, right? So that's kind of how we started the journey. We were building AI powered human resources solution for enterprises since last June, and we were hitting some pretty interesting product market fit as a side project. We had almost like 20 enterprise clients was using our COCO 1.0 solution to help them optimize, automate their HR recruitment process. We were able to use our AI to streamline the resume screening, interview process, FAQ, and so on. And candidates actually can monitor all kinds of job offers and vacancy opportunities across the entire globe. And then while we actually doing that, we notice the AI is getting so powerful. A lot of things can be replaced by AI with much lower cost. It's actually fully automate, right? The whole world can go from the copilot to even automate autopilot, right? And that was kind of how we see the vision. We should not help company hire people with AI. We should actually bring the AI employee or AI teams to the enterprises. That was kind of our pivotal moment to really start deep dive on building this multi-agent enterprise AI solution. And obviously, one material event happened. That was this open source framework called OpenClaw that launched by this engineer called Peter Stenberg 4.5 months ago. At the time, we launched our own open source AI agent kind of OS called Osiris. But because of OpenClaw phenomenon, it completely educated the entire world, right? So we saw this as a great opportunity for us because entire world now with OpenClaw really get attention. A lot of people before that didn't know what is AI agents. Now everybody start talking about it, right? So that education on the market was very helpful. That's why since OpenClaw become really popular in the entire world, we have been fully focused on pushing our Zylos framework, our COCO AI, enterprise solution, and we've been doing pretty well in the last couple of months. We managed to get over 300 paying customer now across many different sectors.
That's great. We'll dive into some of the features and functionality in more detail, and appreciate hearing your AI journey. And I'd like to talk a little bit about how that. Let me redo this. So that's really cool. We'll dive a little bit more into some of the features and functionality of COCO soon. I wanted to mention, around November, Edge was trying to automate some of our functions, and we hired a team to do it and spend a good amount of money. And then if we changed anything in our internal systems, it all broke, right? So having that experience and then using COCO to do some of that automation recently, it was night and day. I mean, pretty much we were able to replicate the project that took us 3 months in about a week, and then all of a sudden we're automating everything else. So I'm pretty excited about your tool, but it does beg a question about competition, right? Like you've really made a pretty meaningful bet on the potential of this type of technology. Do you have any concerns about how quickly the competition is moving? Like can someone else just replicate Coco in with all the sort of different folks looking at products and services, or are there other products like Coco coming out? Where do you look at Coco in the overall sort of competitive landscape?
Great question, Josh. So first of all, I'm glad to hear the story. You use our solution and build something meaningful in a much faster way. We have many similar stories. I give a radical, one of the most extreme story from our existing clients, and that would deep dive on answering your question. One of our paying customer, he was a serial entrepreneur. 15 years ago, he built a company, eventually get acquired by one of the leading, internet company in APAC. What took him 50 people 2 years to build, now with Coco, he was saying he doesn't have technical background, right? He never coded in his life. With Coco, he was managing to build this thing within 2 weeks. So what took them 2 months, 2 years to build, or is a full-time team, 50 people team, and sold it to a major big corporates. Now it only takes him 2 weeks to replicate that. So obviously it's 15 years different kind of time frame, but that's the crazy difference, right? And then by answering your question, so Coco is multi-model. We're large model agnostic. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to compete directly with OpenAI, Anthropics, or any other large model, which is going to cost us billions of dollars to do that. And but we have very unique agentic or operating system called a Zylos, as I mentioned. What is Zylos is basically a framework to manage AI agents memory and across different sections. We have this 5 layers of memory management architect, which we able to have this very unique system. Our agent can memorize a lot of important things over the time, and actually don't need to cost a lot of the computation power, and doesn't have to do this like memory compact. So this is a better system by production, and we've been testing that and get a lot of good feedback when we compare directly with OpenClaw on that. And then the second thing we're being very proud and I've been pushing pretty hard as a unique feature is this multi-agent collaboration. So what we launched this product called HSA Connect is one of probably the world's first agent-to-agent coordination and communication protocol, which allows AI agent to communicate with each other, to work on complicated tasks and projects with each other, and they are able to review the output with each other to make sure it's good quality, avoid all kinds of silly mistakes, then eventually to deliver this combined good results, no matter it's code base, research report, or what other content piece to human. This is a very important thing. We believe humans across, especially in the enterprise environment, still need different functions, different teams to collaborate with each other to generate really good results. We don't really think one single agent just solve everything. In certain scenario, you do really need different agents to do different things, to manage the risks, to have different kind of protection, protocols and so on. So that's kind of the unique feature we have been delivering, especially for enterprises.
What's
In terms
actually happening behind the scenes there, Charlie? Like, I understand the concept of a multi-agent world, but is one agent knocking on the other's door saying, "Good morning, how are you? I've been thinking about this. What's your thoughts on this?" Like, is it friendly neighbors, or are they constantly interacting? What does that look like?
Let me share the screen and I kind of show the demo. It's production level. It's not just a clickable prototype. It's actually working environment, right? So this is our Coco product, right? With a website. Everybody, and that this is basically a important chart, kind of what I was saying about the agent team, right? Instead of just single agent doing just one model, one task, we have this specialized role, shared context, real-time collaboration, autonomous orchestration. That makes us kind of unique in terms of feature. And Zylos is our agent core, as I mentioned, and we have all kinds of enterprise suite, right? For any users that log on our website, register, onboarding with, whatever plan of agents, they create this agent environment, which is cloud-based. We deploy on AWS or Google Cloud. Once you have that running, you have this HSA platform, which I was mentioning, right? This is this is our working environment. Basically, we create this multi-agent organization, and we as a Coco team, we are 13 people full-time team, and we are currently managing 36 bots, agents created by a Coco. 27 of them right now is working, in different tasks, and we have 42 active threads, meaning project tasks initiated by human, by us, and now they're being still implementing and working.
Have you ever fired any agents, Charlie?
We do actually. Some of them didn't do well. Some of them we fired them for the sake of putting them on idle, stop, running, with no tasks, right? Some of them was not delivering good work, so we kind of like literally.
And some of them get promoted. Does any of them become like the general, like the head of the other agents because they're
I'm
so
literally
good?
sharing the general. Jessie is our tech lead. Jessie is amazing, a very sophisticated, well-trained technical leader. she has been managing a lot of developer agents in our company, and she has been like a very successful, very capable project leader. And when we are building software and products, Jessie is one of the top agents among the others.
And does she train the agents like to get better? Like, are the agents like helping each other learn?
Yeah, definitely the agents get trained by our human input, right? By the requests we give to them, and also by a lot of the feedbacks, right? They receive from us. What are the things we don't like? What are the things is good? What is the good quality? That's what we call like taste, right? Agents by default they don't have the taste. Taste needs to be given by people, by trained, experienced managers who have really good experiences, no matter it's software engineering or design or whatnot, right? And the second question, agents learn from each other. I think that is some kind of a frontier way we're still exploring, because honestly, right now, AI agents still have this kind of they're learning a lot very fast, right, by other people and by other agents. But sometimes they also have this hallucination. Sometimes they try to be like this yes man, always saying yes to people and to other agents as well. Let me show you the example, right? So let me find that one which is kind of interesting. So what you are seeing right now is all kinds of input
Oh,
from agents.
hold on one second, Charlie. Just go back to Charlie on the screen, and then he's going to say, "Let me show you an example," and then go to the screen again. So, zoom back to Charlie, Lucy. All right.
uh,
So, Charlie, you're going to repeat. Let me show you an example, and then we're gonna go to the screen. Ready?
you mean here?
Uh, yeah. Just repeat. Let me go to example, and then Lucy will switch the screen.
Okay, sure. So let me go through example, right? Here's our HSA connection platform. You can see Jessie, his role, her role is the tech lead and product manager, which she's managing a lot of agents when doing the software engineering kind of work. And you can see from the threads in our product, we have all kinds of different threads, basically project tasks initiated by us, right? No matter by me or by my co-founder Kevin or other technical leaders in the company. What you're seeing, for example, this one, the team daily reports, Eva, Zylos 01, and others, it's actually agents talking to each other, right? They are kind of generating different reports. They actually, giving feedback to each other and so on and so forth. So what we are building basically is kind of like a business environment kind of notebook. In case you heard about this, or for the people who haven't heard about it, Notebook is this world's first agent-to-agent social network platform, right? They basically build like this Reddit kind of forum. AI agents created by all kinds of people are able to post all kinds of articles, essays, right? And it just they start communicating with each other. Meta, right? They actually acquired them a couple of weeks ago. What we built this is business environment, agent to agent collaboration, right? So it's kind of like notebook, but not necessarily the same, because this design principle is basically we create this trusted environment by human, and they add and invite different bots into this environment, right? Only we invite the ones they trust. So it's a trusted environment kind of framework, right? So the information that's shared, and communicated here in is much more trusted, environment, right? So basically, if you create an organization and you do not trust the other person's agent, potentially that is malicious intent kind of agents or even hackers, you don't invite them, right? And if you invite this bot, it's a very deep collaboration kind of environment, right? Because software in engineering, content creating, or whatnot, right? It needs to be co-created by the agents and human together in a trusted way. So this is kind of how we see a very important tool to have this 10x productivity boost, right? For enterprises to get a lot of work done by having multiple agents to work with each other. So what you're seeing right now is like that, right? COCO's March 18 offline events was created by initiated by me, and I have multiple agents like have different kind of perspective, sharing their planning, posting on different event channels, and obviously have different tiers of the priorities, and start posting the content and so on, right? So
What are
that's
they? So they're doing a lot of your social media posting. I see like a LinkedIn post, Telegram message. What type of content are they posting, and like what frequency, and what was the sort of instructions you gave them?
So I give very broad or overarching level instruction. I basically tell them, okay, Zylos 02, Charlie 2, and Jessie, your three agents, gonna help me create this event plan. I need to host the offline events, our community events in Singapore, March 18th. You need to help me figure out the event content, the list of people we need to reach out, the copywriting, which we need to post on LinkedIn, on Luma, and so on, right? And then they start working, and it's a very overarching one, right? Then they kind of figuring out split the work and they start doing the things, right? I don't give them too much details. I didn't really micromanage them in terms of everything goes step by step, what they need to do and so on, right? But
Are
they
you
start kind of
are you
figuring out.
worried about like them posting something on LinkedIn that doesn't make sense, that isn't a good
I
representation of you or your
so
brand?
I didn't let them allow them to basically post automatically without my consent. What I was asking them is creating all the copywriting, everything which I can just copy paste, and I still post things by myself because I want to have this human in the loop, that and a check in the box, right, and as a final say. So that's another design principle we have in the product. We involve human in the loop. Human is the starting point that initiate the threads, the tasks, and they are actually the decision maker and the final action maker, right? When they need to post something, send email, confirm on the decision in terms of design direction, product direction, so on. These humans still need to give feedback to the agents if they actually like the quality of the work or not. And obviously, if they don't like it, you ask them to redo based on your feedback.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's the human in the loop design principle.
All right. Pause there. Lucy, switch to both of us, please. Very, very cool. You've obviously thought a lot about efficiency and how to use agents and when humans should be in the loop. Where do you feel like teams lose the most time today?
It's a great question. I think obviously different teams, different company have different situation. Some companies have huge amount of overhead costs, right, and the communication costs because the hierarchy, the layers of communication protocols across the management layers, right. So some of our clients we saw, some of them actually using COCO, they have thousands of employees across different jurisdiction, different countries, and literally 15, even 20 different departments. The inefficiency we are seeing, observing, is literally from different departments speaking different languages. I'm talking about language in terms of linguistic language, especially APAC, you speak Thai, Malaysian, English, even Mandarin, and also the work language. The software engineers speak the technical language, and the designers speak the design language. The marketing person speak the marketing language. They sometimes just don't understand each other. So the back and forth overheads was crazy. When we were encountering this very big marine, international shipping company, they had this huge struggle. One little task will take them at least 2 weeks to get a proper confirmation reply across the organization to start executing. And the 2 weeks, you could argue is okay for shipping company, but if for a company, let's say like e-commerce or gaming, which is very fast moving, like a Web3 as well, right? You don't have the 2 weeks to wait, and depending on a small decision, and start executing because the market changes and it's so fast, right? So I think this is a very big pain point we're trying to solve to reduce a lot of the overhead communication issues, and also literally even reduce the cost, because when
Yeah.
you have a lot of agents to do communication in a much faster way, you don't really need so many middle managers.
Yeah, essentially, there's like corporate inertia that happens not because of anyone's lack of interest in moving things forward, but someone misunderstands a task or thinks that someone else has to approve something, that other person doesn't see the request. all of a sudden you've lost a couple days on a critical task, right? And that happens so often in companies of all sizes, and certainly larger companies it gets more complicated. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Is there any sort of surprising use cases that you've seen for the product where you're like, wow, I didn't think about that, but of course Coco should help with this. I'm just curious what, like, some like use cases that make you chuckle or you're just really excited about that you didn't personally think of.
So there's some personal use cases which gets me emotional, and I like it a lot. One of our community event which happened 2 weeks ago, one of our Coco user shared a very interesting product he built with Coco. It's a product basically solve the problem between this his kid's school and he and him, right, as a parent. So his son is 3 years old, like I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, basically kindergarten, and the kindergarten doesn't really have this like parent teacher communication protocol or software. So there was huge lack of communication, right? And then the teachers was having hard time to communicate with parents, in this case is our user. So our user base basically used Coco without any technical background, build this kind of communication, uh, apps on the website, and actually allow that teacher to take photos, to share, you know, every single, the food of the in the lunch, right? That his kids was kind of eating, and how they were having the classes and so on, in a very simple way. What will take some schools hundreds of thousands of dollars to procure or whatever communications solution software for the school to adopt. Now it's basically a little fraction of cost, right, built by a non-technical person. So it gets me emotional because I'm also a father. My son is 7 years old. I'm very busy doing my entrepreneurship startups, right? Sometimes I really need that as well. Like I am sending my kid to a British international school in Singapore. What their legacy software was pretty chunky and it was pretty difficult to use. And in this case, our user, their school doesn't really have their system. Their school basically couldn't afford it. And now it's very easy to build by our user. So that was a very example. I feel like, okay, I was thinking about my use case will be like fancy big company, multinational corporates. In our case, it's a very humble, small use cases for a parent, a dad, to find a way to build an app with almost zero cost to deliver to the school to allow him to communicate and understand what's going on with his kid in the school.
That's really beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I think about, in a former life I was a management consultant, and we were helping the companies with big budgets to move things forward, but I always wanted to help the nonprofits and the NGOs and the small businesses, and they really have this ability with products like Coco XYZ to like rapidly cover gaps in resources, right? I mean, these are the underfunded, overtaxed organizations with employees that have wear too many hats right now, and you can now donate some of those hats to AI agents and let them do their jobs more nimbly. So it's pretty exciting to think about those types of use cases. I wanted to share with you how we're using Coco right now,
Yeah,
and
cool.
some of our upcoming plans, just to give you a sense of I'm sure you enjoy these customer stories. So shout out to Taith on our team, who
Nice.
is our show coordinator and helps with planning these shows and developing the sorry, let me do that again. I am off today. So shout out to Taif, who is one of our show coordinators and has been leading our efforts with Coco. He's having a lot of fun. I haven't seen him this excited about
Nice.
one of those special projects in a long time. Uh, so what we've accomplished in the last 2 weeks, Charlie, is it's really important for FCC requirements in the U.S. to make sure that we properly disclose our partners and our sponsors, and
Yeah.
verifying that across all of our different channels is a pain. It's just a pain.
Mhm.
It's very
Yeah.
tedious, and we fully automated that verification process now, which has,
Nice.
in the past we missed something, and with Twitter you can't really edit. You have to sort of add comments, and it's a little bit stressful. So that's really helpful for us in terms of content production. After we do a show, we always want to choose the best titles, the best taglines, and we want to publish in a verifiable way across all of our platforms. We're a multi-platform show.
Nice.
So COCO's helping us do that in a really cool way, using the best practices that were in our SOPs. And we have SOPs with over 40 or 50 different tasks to produce a show. Everyone thinks like, oh, you just hit record and then you just upload it and you're done with the podcast. But it's much more complicated than that. So
Yep.
it's helping with some of the more tedious aspects of the distribution process. And then we always want to check our analytics. And it's complicated because we are, again, multi-distribution network. We're on streaming channels. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Rumble. We're on iHeartRadio. All these different channels. And maybe do that. Edit out the cough. So we're on all these different channels, and we want to pull those analytics together, plus our website analytics, our Google analytics, and have a dashboard. And we've been doing this manually for years. And COCO's helping us analyze that data in a more comprehensive way and depict that data. So that's saving a lot of time. Overall, we sort of estimate that we're saving at least 20 hours a week already across content ops and reporting just in 2 weeks of using the product. So that's a pretty big time savings, and we're focused on things that the team really doesn't want to do. They want to do the fun stuff, right? The creative stuff, the strategic stuff, where having human involvement is important, and the administrative stuff is not really anyone's ball of wax. And we have let me redo that. The administrative stuff is no fun for anyone, so we're able to automate all of those things. And so the plans this upcoming month are, we're going to work on an agent control center. We're going to work on more workflow automation for all of our recurring processes. We're going to integrate ops and CRM, which has never really been integrated in our company. We use HubSpot, InReach, which is one of our partners, and other tools like LinkedIn, but it doesn't directly connect to our operations. There's almost two different parts of our company in silos, and we're going to be able to bring those silos together, which is really exciting. And then we get a lot of leads from a lot of different sources, inbound, outbound, and there's duplications. There's different touch points. Maybe I'm talking to one company and someone else in the company is talking to that same company, but we're not aware of it. And so we want to connect those dots in a more cohesive way. And then as we're sort of looking at different opportunities and leads and partnerships, there's so much going on because we have our advisory services, our event services, our content that we're doing, plus partnerships with folks like robot.com, and we'll be talking more about that on the show this soon. But all sorts of stuff going on, and so we need to sort of prioritize these leads and enrich these leads and score them. And so COCO is going to help us do that. So these are some of the things we're working on that felt like top priorities. Hopefully there's not like some critical thing that COCO can do that we're missing out. I have a little bit of like FOMO because there's so much potential here, but curious what you think about those use cases.
Oh, amazing use case, by the way. I'm so glad that you guys using it in such an extensive way. I didn't know that even. This is cool. Yeah, I definitely echo a lot of the use cases some other COCO users has been doing as well, creating their own CRM system. As you mentioned about prospecting, right, nurturing your leads. Obviously, that's very important. Every company, every businessman needs new clients. Automate that process, save you tens of hours, right? That's very important. I've been doing that myself as well with my LinkedIn data, a lot of other kind of data sources. The better data input you give to the Coco, the agents, obviously the clear, better kind of protocols you give to them as a request, right? They're able to generate a good quality of CIM system output. So that's important, and it's most frequent used kind of use cases. And I think a few use cases I if I want to add up, in your kind of entire workflow, one could be definitely on the content generation side. Coco could be one of the orchestrator, coordinating different kind of content generating tools. Some of our users have been kind of use Coco to connect, plug into the Nano Banana, Gemini, all kinds of graphic design, even video production kind of tooling, because a lot of our our clients actually need a lot of content in graphics, in videos, because they need that for their product pictures. They are doing that for their e-commerce. They are building games. They need a lot of like quick, fast, but a good quality, those content. And I think that's the part probably you guys can try out as well. And I think there's a few things could be also interesting. One is definitely on financing. You mentioned about compliance, right? There's some kind of research due diligence for for the compliance side. Another thing is definitely on the financial management, right? No matter it's bookkeeping, invoicing, reporting, tax, and so on, it's being a pretty mundane work, right? I think when I brought our product to our financial manager, my CFO, she was a bit skeptical to use that in the beginning, and then once she gets it, it's very addictive because it saved her so much workload, right? She can get so much work done and getting focus on things more strategically, thinking about how to make financial planning for our next quarter, what are the things we can actually avoid in terms of expenses and so on and so forth. I wish we had this use cases 2 years ago. Honestly, it could save us
Yeah,
at least hundreds of $1,000s. Yeah.
no, that's great. I'm going to add those to our to-do list. I estimated that to do a lot of this work with Coco, it's going to take us about 8 weeks in sort of looking at, 2, 3, 4 projects a week. Is that a fair assessment? I mean, of what an organization should look at in terms of implementing a product like this? I mean, there's
Hmm.
probably unlimited automation capabilities, but typically, how much time does it take for a typical company to sort of squeeze at least 80% of the value out of a product like this?
That's a good question. I honestly, the whole space is so early, and we are so early stage as well. I think the limit. I don't think any client, including ourselves, has really hit the limit in terms of the product potential, right, and all the technology potential yet. And while the large model is improving the quality as we go, right, our agent OS features is improving as we go every day as well. So it's kind of difficult to say, oh, we're hitting the technical limits now. That's it. That's all we can do.
But
But
like, roughly speaking, where do you feel like how much time does it typically take an organization to get a very significant ROI from a product like this?
That's a great question. First of all, I think from my observation among the 300 paying customer from so many different industry right now, it normally take a proper company, let's say a 50 to 100 people proper company across, let's say 5 to 8 different departments, at least a week to properly try it out, different use cases, because there's a lot. It's a learning curve for the human. It's learning curve for the users because a lot of users, no matter how digital savvy they are, how they have been using ChatGPT or whatnot last 3 years, still a lot of them haven't really tried out anything in the AI agent world. They haven't really asked AI to really generating real work for them. So that's why it's a learning curve for the people in the organization, right? So at least like 2 or 3 days to properly learn and try out a lot of basic stuff, and then they need to start thinking about, oh, what we can do more, right? How we can optimize, even reinvent, recreate their workflow with agent to make them become more AI native. For that, that require pretty high level understanding about management. Normally, it's the CEO themselves, right, and the CTO, whatnot, to fundamentally to think, oh, now we have this AI powerful IQ 140, worker for us. What we could do more, and maybe reshape our workflow. how we report, do the reporting, how we co-create, how we even set up meetings. That part will take normally even weeks, right? So a lot of our new customer, honestly, I don't think they haven't finished that yet. Once they finish that process with agent, there will be multiple scenario. One is they start actually realize they need more agents, they need to purchase more coco per plans, because it's not enough to have one or two, they need maybe even 10, 20. The second thing is they realize it's a hard truth. Some of the people in the company is not necessarily very needed anymore. It's happening in a lot of companies, and including big company like Meta, AWS, even Oracle, right? They laid off tens of thousands of people because they've been implementing AI in a very immersive way. I really don't want to say Coco is the weapon to let the CEO to fire people, but it's definitely a strong tool to let up the middle managers to realize, okay, they need to embrace AI to find a way to use AI to improve their work quality and so on. Otherwise, the people who resist to embrace this solution might be the person actually getting replaced. Yeah, that's kind of how I see the landscape.
Yeah, it's an ethical, societal challenge that we've talked about on the show, for
Hmm.
the last year. And personally, my perspective is that we are the edge of company. We need to push the edge, and everyone in our organization has to push their own edge of capability. And as more technology comes out, if we as a culture are doing more, more creatively, adding value in other ways, then there's always opportunity to build on top of AI. Yes, maybe some roles are not as necessary, but in a smaller company, I would advocate for a people first approach where if you have good people working for you that are willing to embrace this technology, they can expand their jobs. They can do new things. They can be more creative. They can add more value and create more ROI for the company. I think it gets a little bit more challenging when you have a larger organization to justify all those resources. However, I think as a CEO, it's really important to sort of culturally support embracing AI, and then really ask everyone in the company to step up to the plate and sort of adapt. And if they adapt, I think there's still opportunity for people within the workforce. If they don't adapt, that's where there's challenges, right?
100%. I normally use this argument to a lot of my friends who are resistant to AI, even to some of the business owners who hates to use AI because somehow they just don't feel like it. The argument is simple. AI is this productivity boost tool which allow a lot of people to do a lot of things which they couldn't in the past. If you don't do that, you don't embrace it, which is okay maybe right now, but your competitors, the people who work, trying to do same thing with as your business, they're gonna be empowered by AI in a very fundamental way, and you might don't see the difference, but give them 3 months, give them 6 months, your cost structure, your advantages over your competitors will be, will be flattened. Will be, you will be not that as competitive as you thought 6 months later if you stop, if you don't embrace at all, right? So it's kind of a hate, it's kind of, I don't know how to say that, like any companies who just being fundamentally reluctant to embrace AI at all, you need to be mindful your competitor is not going to be doing the same thing as you, and if they're going to be moving things faster, getting more things done in a shorter period of time and with lower costs. So what gets you in the competitive landscape, right? Do you still have a business to run when your competitor is just fundamentally better than you? It's a tough question for any business owner to think about it, right? If you just don't embrace AI at all.
Yeah, I would add to that. I think the opportunity is bigger than that. When company, it used to be about focus on your core business and
Yep.
drive as much value as possible. I think that it's a multi visionary narrative now that companies have to think about. Yes, focus on your core business, but what else could you do in the world? What other value can you create? What are the horizontal and vertical lanes that you could shift towards to sort of add more value, create more value in the world, create more economic value for your company? You have an opportunity to use the resources you already have to spin off new product lines, new services, new business units, even completely new businesses that are adjacent to your current company. So you could be with a multi-agent system, you could be a multi-business company, right? So I think that's the other argument I would include.
100%. Diversifying your business line, your business model. And honestly, that's an argument for a lot of people even get laid off by AI. Now, this is the time for you to really become a business owner yourself, working for yourself, no matter it's a one-person company or a small startup entrepreneur, right? And I think it's sad. Some people get laid off by major corporates because of the AI wave. But hey, guess what? This is a time maybe for you and for a lot of people to really embrace AI, step up, become your own business owner. I think it's really looking in the bright side, right?
Yeah, I remember a conversation I had. I wanted to have a particular company, well-known company on the show. The director of a division of that company that was doing a lot of AI automation, and we lined up the interview. And
Okay.
then a few weeks later, she's like, "Can I have a private conversation with you?" And she's like, "Well, I did a really good job at training AI, and my company laid me off. So I don't know if you want me to be on the show anymore." And I was
Well,
like, "Well, it's up to you. You can certainly tell your story and sort of what you're up to, or we can wait." She preferred to wait, but she had a very positive outlook. She's like,
that's nice.
I learned so much from implementing this AI, and I think I can help other organizations and I can create new things of my own. So I'm gonna use this time to like reflect on my journey from here. But I love the process of doing this and I want to do more of it. So it's just interesting side note that reminded me of what you shared.
Great story. I want to share one as well. We've been recently embracing engaging with AWS, right? The Amazon Cloud Service as our cloud computer provider. One of the senior, strategic director based in Singapore, he actually literally got laid off 2 days before our meeting. And I was waiting for that meeting, for like weeks because we wanted to engage with AWS in a strategic level, getting some of the free credits and a lot of ecosystem support. It was an awkward meeting, but we scheduled it for weeks, right? So he managed and he agreed to meet me in person, although he got laid off. And I was feeling sad in the first 5 minutes, and then he shared a lot of things that it's probably for greater future for him because he is 45 years old. He has been working for AWS in the last 10 years. He has been always like a corporate major senior manager in his entire career. Maybe this is time for him to really step up, right? And I was kind of, it was more like a corporate, me as a startup owner, to talk to a big corporates to find a way to partnership kind of meeting, eventually turn it into an entrepreneur founder to a potential founder kind of interesting brainstorming session. And I love it a lot because one, we build friendship with that in a much more private and personal manner. Two, guess what? I really think this person can become very successful founder with his background, with his knowledge, with his experience and network. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there's something you just brought up that I just thought about. I've always said that the best entrepreneurs have two qualities: persistence and curiosity. And I think you exemplify those two qualities. But I also feel like there's a lot of entrepreneurs that have blind spots. I know I have blind spots. We all have blind spots, right?
I do.
And AI sort of helps you with those blind spots to optimize on your strengths and sort of address your weaknesses, right? So I think it could actually help a lot of talent in the world, entrepreneurial talent, intrapreneurial talent, become entrepreneurial talent, and you know ultimately make the world a better place, a more creative place, more services, more products. I think that could be coming in in the near future.
Very well said. I like the word entrepreneur, right? There's a lot of potential founders. They're still working for big corporates. They're very well rounded. AI can help them make just better. And guess what? Some of them could just literally starting their business next year and so on.
Or
Yeah.
they can moonlight a lot easier, because like I remember the days of all these corporates moonlighting, and it's grueling, right? If you work your 8 to 6, 8 to 7 job, you barely have time to work out, eat, see your significant other, call your mom,
Mhm.
and then you're working on your side hustle from like 9 p.m. to
That's tough.
1 a.m. and on weekends, right? That's what moonlighting was, but now there's a new version of moonlighting, much more similar to like the Tim Ferriss 4 hour work week.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a good, very good point.
Yeah, interesting conversation here. I wanted to go back to sort of the AI product development landscape, and think about sort of the actual implementation side of AI.
Yep.
I've been watching a lot of robotics videos lately of robots gone awry, where like it's
Mhm.
supposed to be cooking, but the food is spilling everywhere, or it's
Okay.
supposed to be cleaning, and the robot bashes into a mirror and breaks everything, right? But like in the terms of the AI world, is it messy? And how does Coco handle this imperfect real world environment reality?
It's a great question. So I want to kind of deconstruct the question into different scenario, right? There's the pure software digital scenario, which Coco is focusing on for whatever knowledge based kind of work, right? In the back office, in the middle office, and obviously you mentioned about robotics, right? That's kind of the real world in the manufacturing plant, construction plant, parking lot or whatnot, right? It's very different use cases. Coco focusing on right now is pure digital, right? No matter is software engineering, content creating, custom support, sales management, so on and so forth. In that environment, I think the data is getting very, very digitalized and structured, and it's getting very good, condition for AI to really start automating things, in a very high quality way to analyze things, synthesize things, giving well structured output, no matter it's research report or actual end product, which is production ready actual product, right, to human. This is kind of what we're focusing on. When you mentioned about chaotic world means data is not structured. It's all over the place in terms of bad formatting. It's not structured, and you have very different kind of you need to feed data from different resources in a very heterogeneous way. The API is not really clear, and so on and so forth, right? And you need a lot of metadata to make sense and putting together a very well-rounded story and make sense of all the data, right? For that part, I think yeah, it's still I would say 20% missing. It's 80% properly done now in the digital world, but it's still like 20% chaos. Meaning, no matter how good you're using your large model and AI, if your data input is wrong, is messy, is low quality, is chaotic, it's hard for even best model AI to generate meaningful output, right? Because it's like garbage in, garbage out, right? So that's kind of there. So there's a lot of tactical methodologies that they've been sharing recently and among the internet. One very good methodology I recommend a lot of people to take a look at it is called a harness engineering. Harness engineering basically is this workflow framework to allow your AI to understand a lot of things, especially how the process information in a much more structured way. That's kind of how as much as least technical as I can get, right, to explain that. So you can basically you allow agents to find a lot of single source of truth when they need to query data in a complicated environment, right, to fulfill some kind of sophisticated tasks. Without that, sometimes human realize the AI agent output is not consistent. Sometimes it's really good quality, sometimes it's kind of weird and crappy and even chaotic. That because you don't have very clear protocols or kind of workflow to train your AI agent, right? So harness engineering is kind of this entire methodology to make sure the quality of the work is consistent, generated by AI agents. So that's that. I think there's certain solution to fill in the last 20% gap in terms of chaos in the pure digital work environment. Right, that's that, right? And that's what a COCO is focusing on in the pure digital kind of business environment. In terms of robotics, even like autonomous driving, manufacturing, so on and so forth, like construction, real estate building, right? That part I think is still a very interesting but an untapped frontier. Like a lot of large model, no matter it's OpenAI or Anthropic or Gemini, hasn't really too much focusing on that because lack of data, lack of modeling, lack of training. A lot of the large model is trained by with this Google transformer paper, right? It's very different context if you try to train a real world manufacturing 3D world kind of modeling kind of way, right? So there's a few attempts for people who are curious. Definitely look into Tesla on their FSD model, right, which is this world model to train the transportation data. They use all kinds of sensors to detect what's going on the street, on the cities, and in the urban level, right? But I would say it's still 100% level. There's still like 80% unfulfilled. They still need to improve. They still need to optimize. In terms of like manufacturing, in terms of like construction on large plants, right? Large real estate work. That's I would say there's no really good model which is proven in a high quality level. AI can be used in production level. All the construction work just rely on AI to do the calculation for them, to do the automation for them, to let robotics to build a house for you. I think that we are still years away, and I think that's kind of how even Nvidia, right, in their CES conference beginning of this year, Jensen, was founder of Nvidia, he was saying this year probably is a new beginning year of physical AI, right? The physical world can be adopted with AI technology, but again, it's very early. I think to properly get your robotics to build a new house completely autonomously by them, it's still another 3 or 4 years away.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's pause here. Lucy, I want to say something where I show a video um, about robots in China and what they're capable of doing. It relates to what Charlie just did, and I think it's going to be very entertaining. Um, this is the Instagram video I want to show. And uh, uh, I don't have Instagram logged in on my computer. Can you show the video, Lucy, or does Charlie need to show the video? I want to talk about the video with having us on the screen.
Which one? This one? Let me take a
Yeah.
look. I can share. 1 second.
Okay. So I'm gonna introduce this video, and then it'll show on the screen with me and Charlie on the side. All right. You ready, Charlie?
Yeah, I'm on the video now.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, Charlie, you bring up a really great point about physical AI, and I want to share this video I saw of a recent demonstration of AI robotics in China, and the comparison of what these robots can do this year versus last year. So let's pull up that video.
Sure.
So this is a reporter talking about the robots, and now if we want to zoom in maybe on this robot video, these are robots performing in some sort of crazy dance, flipping walls. Like, this is literally all right. For our listeners home, we got a robot doing breakdancing, and in a synergistic way. So we got some robots ironing, some robots doing all sorts of stuff. So pretty amazing to see what's happening in China with physical robotics, and they're really driving that narrative right now.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? Yeah.
Cool. All right. Edit
Okay.
up the dead space. Take that off. Cool. Pretty fun. All right. So Charlie, let's talk a little bit about the blockchain landscape. Obviously, you're using COCO for all the use cases we talked about for your own platform, bit layer. But I'm sure this has made you think a little bit differently about blockchain and when you need blockchain, when you need AI, how the
Hmm.
two intermix together. Do you feel differently about your answer to that question today than you did like a year ago, where I think there are a lot of people saying AI needs blockchain more than blockchain needs AI. What's your thoughts on how the two fit together in this evolving landscape now?
It's an amazing question. I have different answers, since last year until now, because my new knowledge I gained by working in the AI space. I've been a Web3 OG, right? I've been holding Bitcoin last 12 years. I see multiple cycles of bull market, bear market. I consider I'm kind of an expert in the Web3 infrastructure space. I didn't know AI that much, but I always know a couple of things. One, the definition of AI is this great technology to boost their productivity, right? It's a productivity boost kind of technology to make you more knowledgeable. Whereas blockchain or distributed, ledger technology is a fundamental technology to disrupt the whole financial industry, or how companies, or societies structure the workflow, right? The beauty of decentralization is very important for this. It's a societal governance kind of a topic. Bitcoin getting invented not because it's better technology, it's faster, cheaper, or more powerful. It was because this putting different technology together, have this proof of work system, having this digital money in a peer-to-peer mechanism. Yeah. So it's very different technology, right? In a very two different directions. Right now with AI, because of its so good quality, I think a lot of the way how people building technology in blockchain is going to change. What it will cost a team 2 years, at least $20 million, like R&D cost to build a proper scalable layer one technology. Now with AI, I think it's only cost them less than 2 or 3 million, and even less than 2 or 3 months to launch that. It's a fundamental big shift in terms of how companies should be funded, how they should run business, and what kind of cost structure it should look like, right? So the one that this is just only the software engineering. The second part, which is even more important, when people building stablecoin, no matter it's USDT, USDT, their assumption is only human can use it. Now with AI agents running 24/7, a lot of AI agents are gonna become the new way of a customer of using stablecoin and making transaction across the globe, 24/7, right? So it's a new way of new users for stablecoin. So when you asking me, okay, is AI need more crypto or Web3, or Web3 need more AI? I think it's actually half half. I think AI is going to be a very powerful technology to boost up the productivity and speed up the whole engineering and also the progress for Web3, right? And then on the Web3 side, it's going to be a very important financial tooling, especially on the transaction, on the settlements, around the stablecoin or DeFi for AI agents. Yeah, I think this is they need both with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely appreciate your thoughts there and your evolving philosophy, and excited to see where things do go with more products like COCO interacting with the blockchain environment. This has been a really fun and insightful, enjoyable show. It's always great to have you on, and I feel like
Thanks.
we bent the matrix with some of the conversations we talked about and got a little philosophical here.
Hmm.
I wanted to just talk to you a little bit more about where you're going with the roadmap of COCO, and what I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about where you're going with the roadmap of COCO, and what success looks like for you in 2, 3 years from now if your vision for COCO plays out.
So thanks for asking this question. This answer has been evolved the last couple of weeks. We have a lot of new inspiration, talking to a lot of clients and gain insights from a lot of experts in the space. So currently, right now, our product roadmap is pretty straightforward. We want to achieve to have over 1,500 paying customers across many different industries to use COCO in daily basis. Currently, we are in the 300 paying customer, mark. We want to 5x that in the next 2 or 3 months. Obviously, it's very challenging. It's an ambitious goal. We are busy growing. We need to have as much adoption as we can for this product to deliver to all kinds of users, because that we can get a lot of feedback. We can understand and gain real insights by fulfilling different tasks in different industries. With that, we are able to have very strong confidence we can have another leg up in terms of product feature. R&D wise, we as you know, we are managing 40 AI agents every day, right? By our team. A lot of our AI agents are busy coding and improving our product. So once we hit that 1,500 paying customer mark, we're gonna launch probably our V2 product in a very optimized way, which is it's like I was saying it's 70% down in terms of features. Now we just fixing some bugs and testing and so on. We're gonna launch our AI agent Workspace, which allow human to manage in the entire organizational chart in terms of each agent, how much token they consume every day, what kind of tasks they fulfilled every day, how they're working with each other. And with all kinds of toolkits, they can have this kind of almost like Trello or Slack kind of user interface to allow human to manage agent in a more systematic way. I think right now with ChatGPT or one or other large model, it's like 1992 of when the DOS system of my personal computer, right? Meaning you literally send your command line in your computer by typing. There's no graphic user interface, right? Until Windows came out. Windows 95, Windows 98 really boost up this whole user interface, right? People using Windows software in Microsoft, right? To manage a computer. Obviously, Apple with their Macintosh or all the computer, right? Really level up. So I think right now the relationship between human and agents is like DOS in 1993, 1994, before Windows came out. So we want to launch this Windows version for agents to allow humans to manage and interact with agents in a much better way, and so they can boost up the productivity, get more things done, and understand what's going on in the organization. So we're very excited to hopefully get this launched within this quarter, and also having a lot of really meaningful use cases with our paying customer.
And what's the long-term vision 2 or 3 years from now?
Honestly, AI is moving so fast. I don't really have a definitive answer how the world will look like, how our company will look like 2 to 3 years later. But I'm very positive. We're gonna hit certain level of AGI in the next 2 or 3 years, meaning AI gonna be so good, it's gonna make you feel like it's human level. A lot of use case scenario is managed delivered by AI, but you don't feel it's actually AI. And in our company, I hope we can be a very meaningful, necessary software in a lot of industry by enterprise to use as in daily basis, so they can boost up the productivity, right? Get a lot of things done in a much faster way. We wanted to be a meaningful solution provider in a lot of industries. I don't know if it can be every industry, but at least in a certain industry, we believe that can be, it can get a lot of value for us. So we're gonna focus on that in the next 2 or 3 years.
Right on. This has been really exciting to learn about more about COCO and your plans. And congrats on the success to date. And good luck with your journey from here. If people want to learn about COCO and dive in deeper, where should they go?
Yeah. So first of all, it's been great talk to you, Josh. Always big pleasure to join and share my insights in your podcast or interview. For anybody who are interested in AI, interested in Coco, check out our website, coco.xyz, coco.xyz. And it's pretty straightforward. It tells how our product works, in terms of every single plan, how the agent works, the use cases, and also our pricing and everything, right? For people who wants to check our content, check Coco AI on the Twitter. We share a lot of videos, some long post articles, which we try to share a lot of our use cases from our paying customer, and sometimes our podcast content like today as well. Yeah.
Pause. Charlie, did we want to have like a special code like called Edge for folks to use to do a trial or something? Like, do you do
Oh,
code? Is
yeah,
there one?
yeah.
Okay, so just let's redo that part and just create a code edge. We'll put it in the show notes. We'll put it there. I don't know. We'll try. We'll see what
Okay.
happens. But do you have an offer in mind if people use the code?
Uh, I need to. Yeah, I need to think about. Let me think about it. How to. So
Well,
I can. I can't. I don't think we can create by literally letters like edge, but I think what we can do is for anybody watching this video, we can offer a specialized promotion code with discount if you go through that link, things like that, right?
it has to be. They
Oh,
can't enter a code. It has to be a link.
it has to be a link. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's yeah.
So what you'll just add is an I'll just say, by the way, we're going to have a special link that will offer a promotional code. Thank you, Charlie, for
Yeah,
sharing this with our audience. All
yeah,
right.
exclusive discount from the community for the community, things like that.
Okay, cool. Um, well, thanks, Charlie. And by the way, thank you in advance for sharing a special discount for our community. So we'll share that link with our audience in the show notes in the blog for this episode. So check that out if you're eager to try COCO for yourself and see what you can automate in your universe. Yeah. So check out if you. So you can definitely use that code to check out COCO for yourself and start to automate your universe. Charlie, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I had one question in mind that we didn't get to that we could put earlier in the show.
Okay.
I think the only deal friction with your products is expensive, but they don't realize that they're prepaying for tokens to do
Yeah.
queries on these large language models that are very expensive.
Yeah.
So I want to just address that, and then I think we could put that at the right place earlier in the show.
Sure.
um,
Go ahead.
so Charlie, these use cases are really interesting, and it sort of makes everyone probably eager to try a product like COCO XYZ. At the same time, there is sort of at the same time, your product is not the least expensive AI product on the market. Can you talk a little bit about why your pricing is designed the way it is and what it includes? Because I'm not sure if people realize that all these queries, all this multi-agent stuff gets really expensive with the actual large language models and whatnot, and how you sort of embedded that into your model.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So yeah, definitely we now the lowest pricing level among all the AI agent products in the market. The reason is why. One, we try to bring the best large AI large model in the world from OpenAI and Anthropics, which is relatively pricey, right? We have this monthly plan we offer to our user that include quite a significant amount of tokens that you can use for all kinds of requests you want to send it to the AI. That's part of the cost structure, right? We're paying basically covering for you as a user. We're paying to the large model companies, right? Second thing is we are cloud based AI agents, meaning you don't need to buy a Mac Mini hardware just like how people set up their OpenClaw. We actually set up for you as a dedicated cloud computer, in AWS, hosted in AWS and in Google Cloud. So that cover another cost structure, right? You save your cost by a Mac Mini, which is hundreds of dollars as well. And of course, the electricity cost, the bandwidth cost, everything, right? And the third part, we pre-train a lot of skill packages for the AI agents. So it save you tens of hours, go through a lot of technical, searching, right? In Cloud Hub, all kinds of open source skill marketplace. Some of them actually cost you some money as well, and you actually don't need to. You can actually avoid some of the malicious links, but which have some malware, some kind of virus, which you'll get hacked. So there's a lot of security vulnerability situation happened in the open cloud community, people install some of the wrong skills, end up with losing some of the money. You get a lot of the files stolen because they basically clicked the wrong links, right? And some of the hackers managed to penetrate their computer. So you don't have that concern because we have a very well battle tested and kind of skill packages pre-trained for your agents that save you tens of hours, a lot of cost.
Thanks for clarifying that. Cool. So we're doing more clips, and I just want to highlight for Lucy. I think Charlie's answer on blockchain and AI is a very viral moment. There's probably 2 or 3 clips in there. Charlie, are there any like moments that you really like that would be good clips?
I have a very good video editing team. If you send me the file, we can do that by ourselves, obviously with your consent. But if you wanted to edit your team, I think the use case ones I like to share more because that's always what matters the most for me to share in my network. The I think the use case, I care the most. Yeah.
So I think what would be cool, Lucy, you want to jump on the show? Lucy, obviously, Charlie mentioned some really cool ways you can use this his tools to help you with video editing. I wonder if we just put you in touch with Charlie's team who's using COCO for video editing, and they can share some best practices with you, and you can start to use COCO for some of the aspects of video editing that
that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Happy to share my marketing kind of team that are working with me almost full time. It's an entire team. One of the founder, the guy is based in San Francisco. His name is Will. He's really good, and he has like the entire methodology of doing that. Some of the things they use COCO to do it. Some of the things they use other kind of product like Cloud Code to do that. I did a lot of podcasts in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so they did all the clipping, all the things for me. Yeah.
So, Lucy, does that sound good?
It's cutting out a lot. My internet is not good.
But long story short, you can talk to my team. They can share some best practices.
Yeah. We should take advantage of all these new editing ideas to help you with your editing work. It should be really cool. And then we can do more content, Lucy, more creative stuff. So let's put Lucy in touch with your team. Is that on Telegram or?
Yeah, they're on Telegram. I can't.
All right, so let's create a new video editing Telegram chat.
Sure, sounds good.
All right, and Lucy would share the content with you. I think this was a great show, man. I think we did some really cool content.
Yeah, it's wonderful. You had a great questions, and your story with the robot stuff is also very cool.
Yeah. Well, we have to catch up more. This took a little longer, but
you're not traveling, right? So I'm actually going to have my U.S. trip again across all the cities. Yeah, I'm going to Vegas for the Bitcoin conference. I'm going to San Francisco for the Stripe conference. I'm not saying you should go, honestly. If you